have different string options when it comes to baling your pine straw. Some of the surveys that we have done actually looked at preferences that folks had when it came to would they rather have twine, would they rather have wire on their pine straw, and most people said that they would rather have some sort of twine or string holding their pine straw bales together over wire. It's just a lot easier to deal with, especially if you're looking at a homeowner. They'd much rather have a string or a twine binder rather than something that's wire. For my demonstration today, I'm going to actually use this just a jute twine or string. This is a little heavier duty than some that you might get, but it still is kind of prone to breaking. It can be kind of brittle. I tend to use it just especially when I'm doing demonstrations because it does biodegrade pretty quickly and it's easy to buy on a big roll. For people who actually do it more on a production basis, they use something more like this plastic twine. This is actually off of a pine straw bale that I purchased not too long ago. But this is pretty common, this plastic twine. You usually see it, it's usually orange or it's maybe blue. But this is what's pretty common that most people use. Again, it cuts pretty easy, but it also is a lot more strong than the natural materials. Some people don't like it because it isn't a natural material, and it doesn't degrade if it gets left in the woods or gets left in your yard. If you are using it, it's definitely something you need to be sure and get and dispose of properly. Before you can bale your first bale, you have to get the twine in there properly. And to do this, you open up the door, and inside I've got two small pieces of molding. I've just attached them at the bottom, and up really close to those two pieces of molding, I have installed 4 small eye bolts. You want them as close as you can get those pieces of molding, because the string is going to actually go between the eye bolt and the piece of molding. It doesn't go through the eye bolts, but between the bolts and the molding, just to hold it in place while you're putting the pine straw in there so it doesn't pop up and start to move around on you. So once you get your strings cut, and usually I tell people just kind of, you roll it off and maybe pull it out like 2 or 3 times, your arm's length, and that should give you plenty of string to work with. You tie a loop in the end of your string, just a simple loop in the end. You cut 2 and put a loop in each one, and then there's nails on the back that you just hook it on. So it hooks in there, and then you bring it down the back of your pine straw baler and you put it between the wood and the eye bolts so that it sits between the little pieces of molding or the small pieces of wood and the eye bolts. Then you take the strings, the free ends of the strings, and they go through these holes on the front of the door so that you can get to the ends of the strings when the door is closed. You then close the door and latch it so that when you put the pine straw in there, the pressure of the pine straw doesn't make the door come open. So again, you want to be sure that your pine straw is relatively clean, free of sticks and twigs. And if you do have a burning regime on your forest, you want to be sure that you're just getting the clean, fresh, new pine straw and not any older pine straw. Or if you're not burning and you haven't raked before and you have a layer of old pine straw in the understory, you don't want to get that either. You want to be sure and get the clean, fresh straw. It's this nice golden color. And I am going slow for demonstration purposes. And again, if you see any sticks or twigs, you take those out. And you fill up the hopper. Once you kind of get your first set in there, then you'll put the plunger down and we'll press it down, compact it a little, take the plunger out, and we'll fill in with some more pine straw. So you compact it down, able to put in more straw. You're able to compact it down even further. Then what you can do is you can take it out. Then you unhook the string from the nails that are on the back, and you pull it through the hole at the top of the bale. So you have the loops come through on the top. You then take your strings and run them through the loops. So that it catches. And then you can put your plunger down again to compress the bale again. Because you want to get a nice tight bale. Then you're able to pull down on the strings again. Then you pull it as tight as you can. You tie it off just by looping back behind. You can then open the door. You can pull by the string. You have a bale of pine straw.